What can we do about this? So it's to say monetary reform, which is obviously something that we need, but how does the average guy take a step in that direction? What can we do collectively to help make that happen?
First of all, we have to understand what money is. And we're never told what it really is. We think it's those pieces of paper and coins, and we don't see beyond that. But who creates the money? And on what basis do they create it? We have to look at these things. Money is indeed, it's an invention of the human mind. It is a very intellectual way of handling a barter system. It isn't money that we produce, it's wealth we produce, and then we print the money tokens to represent the wealth that we produce. It's we, the people, create it to make our wealth grow. And this has to be well understood. If we create it, why on earth are we borrowing from somebody else? The Bank of Canada was created in 1934. There was the mayor from Vancouver at the time, Gerald Grattan McGeer. He absolutely understood the scam that is built around us not owning the money, somebody else being able to create it, and he did everything he could to correct that. In 1938, William Lyon Mackenzie King's government, along with the support of the good politicians at the time, nationalized the Bank of Canada, and 100,000 shares were put into the hands of the people. The Bank of Canada could print the money to make happen whatever needed to happen, and it was interest-free, it was debt-free. That was money being spent into existence to begin to promote the economy, and it did. It started right away. In Canada, our depression ended. Canada really grew wealthy overnight. We brought in family allowances, old age pensions, universal Medicare, Trans-Canada Highway Act, St. Lawrence Seaway Project. Veterans Land Act helped veterans buy land. It was just an absolute grant from the people of Canada. This is the wealth that we were able to create because we were not borrowing the money to make these things happen, to pay the workers. We were simply printing it. We weren't building up an interest-bearing debt.
So when and how did that change, and where are we now?
Well, that is a good question. It changed in the 70s. The IMF and the World Bank were being created, and they were to look after global economics. And the bankers were saying, look, we're in the banking business, you shouldn't be. It's not for the people. So we started borrowing from the banks. Immediately our debt shot up. It was $523.3 billion, March 31st, 2005. November 14th, 2006, $798 billion. This is the Fraser Institute report. It's $170 million every day to pay the interest on a debt like this. Even here, the debt stood at a mere $18 billion to $798 billion now. That's an incredible difference. And how could we keep it low here and still produce so much? And that's the question we have to look at.
How am I paying for that? How is the average person paying for that?
Well, we're being taxed to pay for the money that we shouldn't have had to borrow in the first place. And it amounts to, every child born today is roughly $27,000 in debt.
At birth?
At birth, yes. And if we owned our resources, if we didn't use debt money, every child born today would be a millionaire in Canada.
Wow.
And that's the difference.
Would it be accurate to say that our income tax every year when we give away our 30% or whatever the tax rate is, 20 to 30% to the government, that's going to no social programs, that's going to nothing that is effectively helping society. It's merely going directly to private institutions.
To private institutions, to the debt-based money system. And as I said, if we create our own money, our government creates our own money, the word taxes should not exist in our vocabulary.
So there's something people should stand up for.
Yeah. So really, taxes, let's stop and try to understand fully what taxes are. Taxes are us, the people, taking some of our wealth that we in the first place have created and giving it away to somebody who has created nothing in terms of goods or services, in terms of real measurable wealth.
They never suffer a loss in any way, shape, or form in this transaction when we give away our funding.
No, that is true. They do not suffer a loss, and their conscience, for some reason, isn't bothered either. And that's the tragedy of it. We have to see the damage that this debt-based money system is doing to us. It puts people on the edge of poverty. People on the edge of poverty have family conflicts then, so homes get broken. Children then don't get the right guidance that they should have. And crimes result because of the edge of poverty, because of first the family conflict, and secondly because people need money to survive. It's a social problem that we could remedy if we could just have more schools and better kind of thinking collectively, away from war and nasty things, to how to build up a quality society and a quality community. If a country is forced into war and building war machines, they will borrow and borrow to fight that war and end up deeply in debt. Only the bankers make money. For us, the people, war does not make money. War destroys. War takes away. And if we understand that money is what we create to create our wealth, and if we could create our wealth in terms of war machines, shame on us. But let's create it in terms of helping one another, better health, better education, better transportation. I think the first thing is really to understand that we shouldn't be borrowing money from anyone in the first place. And if we can clearly point this out to our politicians, we should put it to them: are you going to put the money creation back in the hands of the people? Only we, the people, have the right to create money. They may say they're the experts, but where are they getting this money from? Why don't we create it ourselves? And we have a big debt, as you saw here, of 798 billion. Now, since we have the right to create the money, let's create 798 billion and give it to them of our legal tender and say goodbye to them. But then we pass a law that says they can't buy our corporations or our resources, but they can certainly buy what we produce. And we love that. But there you are, you're paid off now. It's good Canadian legal tender. Goodbye. And we'll see you at our grocery stores or wherever. Education is what I feel is going to get us back. And people actually begin to think for themselves. Many people don't fully understand why they're on the edge of poverty, but as they grasp it, they will force their governments to put the creation of money back into the hands of the people. And once that gets done, the solutions are so much easier from there on, because we always create more wealth as individuals than we basically need for our own selves. And in my research, I've come to the conclusion that really the love of money is the root of all evil, and we have to get beyond that. We are intelligent, creative beings. We know that we can make choice, and we experience our minds here. We know what they do. Let's put them in the direction of just making life the best possible while we are here. Thank you.
Thank you.